Welcome to the Jointery podcast, a podcast where we study the lives of study the lives of two dads trying to find the balance between the families, hobbies and work. This week on the Jointery, we discover
the teacher's standing right next to me. I'm like, oh shit! I was like, I'm so sorry.
Let's search for the meaning of life as it had never been witnessed before. The Jointery podcast.
Boner.
That's how we're gonna start.
I don't know, dude. Look, you know how we should start is why don't you tell everybody what happened yesterday, Ben?
Oh my god, you're gonna really do this? All right. Well, yesterday.
Wait. Do you think we should do a podcast where I don't call you out for something? Is that a new trend you want to start? Where we just let you off the hook for everything? Or do we throw you into the fire immediately?
Of course. We recorded yesterday.
Or would you like me to tell it?
Oh no, it's fine. I can live up to my own mistakes.
Own it. Oh, I don't know why I'm stroking I'm like stroking my microphone when I say, "Own it, Ben. Own it."
You're stroking your microphone's creepy.
Yeah, it is. That's why people should look at the YouTube. Oh, God.
Yeah. So yesterday we tried to do this, and we recorded a whole hour and a half episode. And
it was gold.
It was gold, Jerry. It was gold. Yeah. Actually, we both were like, "Yeah, it wasn't one of our best." Anyways, but we recorded it. And after right as we were about to be done, all of a sudden my computer died. I'm here.
Fuck. All right.
Jesus Christ, we're off the rails.
I missed all that, dude, because I got this weird like reverb thing. I don't know if reverb is the word for it, but there's this weird.
Is it
like,
echoing?
It's like I don't know. I think my voice is bothering me today.
It bothers me all the time, so we're even. So we recorded yesterday, and I thought my computer was plugged in, and I looked down, and it wasn't. After my screen went blank, I was like, "Oh shit!" So, needless to say, I fucked up, and we're recording again today. So you get a double. We just did a practice one yesterday, so this one's going to be even better.
Well, we could still release the old one because it does have your audio on it, so it would be like a one-sided conversation.
We have half the audio. I told Luke he should just listen to it and listen to what I say and just respond to everything I say. I think that would be gold. That would be hilarious,
dude. I'd be talking over you the whole time. Like, because there was a time at the end of that thing, right, where you had dropped off, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I'm like, "Well, that's new," and I was like, "Well, I was in the middle of telling a story. Maybe I should just finish it." So I just kept talking for a little bit, and I was like, "He's really not coming back, is he?" And then like you kind of came back, and then you didn't, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sure." Like my normal, the way I react to anything is like I see it's like completely on fire, and I'm like, "I'm sure that'll be fine." Yeah, this will work out.
I know. I get back on the thing, and I'm sitting here screaming and yelling and cursing and super mad, and you're just like, "It'll be fine, Ben. Everything will be fine."
Yeah.
It wasn't. But
it's not like it gets. It's not like it gets old talking to you, dude. Like
I know.
Seriously, I could talk to you for 5 minutes in a week or 5 hours, and it's like it's the same amount of effort.
Yeah, 5 hours a day or 5 hours a week. It's all the same.
Yeah.
So we're back. We're here. We made it. Thank God we have a podcast this week. As long as I don't fuck it up again before this thing's over.
This podcast is going to be either amazing or completely suck.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
I don't remember anything I talked about either because I don't commit any of this podcast to memory.
Yeah, and you told me that you erased your notes as soon as we were done yesterday. I was like,
"You did?" I was actually deleting them as I was saying them, and I was like, "Oh, I'm like, this is fine." I'm like, I said that, so I deleted it because I don't have solid notes. So now I still have I have notes, but they're like the things I didn't get to on the last one, so they're like the crap.
Oh yeah, the offcuts of the offcuts.
Like one of the notes I have here is why, when you're on Amazon, right, is there a subscribe and save for first aid kits? but there's not a subscribe and save for fire extinguishers.
I don't know. That's a good. It's a weird question.
Like, how often do you think I'm gonna be hurting myself that I need to subscribe to a first aid kit, right? like how often you got to be cutting yourself? Like, I don't know.
Probably,
and then
go ahead.
No, and then it's like, the fire extinguisher, which has an expiration date on it, which I thought was like 6 months, but apparently it's 5 years. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. You feel free to fillet me in the comments or whatever. But yeah, so I was like, well, if it's 6 months, I'm like, So, anyways, this is the kind of notes that I have left.
Okay, well, these are gold.
You're gonna have to drive this. Yeah, this is good shit. I could delete that now. I said it.
Delete it. Yeah, delete that one for sure. Oh wow. Well, anyways, man, it was this last weekend was Mother's Day. I got a phone call from you on Mother's Day, the day that you told me for the last week, I don't want to get any, I can't be bothered on the weekend. My wife wants me out of the house. I'm going to get no shop time. It's going to be, but then out of the blue, I get a phone call from you and you're in your shop, in your apron, working. And I was just like, what the hell's going on here?
Oh yeah. I don't know. I got a little bit of time. So like the plan was looking at it going into, first of all, I never said, don't ever call me. Cause like that, my mom does it all the time. She's like, I don't want to bother you. You're too busy. I'm like, I don't understand why people respect my schedule at all.
Like, I guess I just assumed that you'd be spending time with your wife and you on Mother's Day and not to bother you. You know what I mean?
Well, look, my wife I look at her as a modern mother, and what a modern mother who has young kids wants on Mother's Day is to not be bothered by her husband or her kids. It's like, once they get to the age where they start ignoring you, it's like, okay, now I need to force you to hang out with me. So Mother's Day, motherfuckers. Like my neighbor who has the teenage daughters, I'm sure for them it was like, oh, you gotta fucking make me a buffet. Like, you're gonna clean the house. You're gonna, like, she's probably just making them miserable. Whereas like our kids, like, well, at least Bubs still likes hanging out with us. So it's like, well, I need a break from you on Mother's Day. So yeah. So the plan is that we were going to go to her mom's house Saturday morning, and then Sunday morning I was going to go to my house with the kids and give my wife the day of no one bothering her. So what ended up happening though was on Saturday, she just kept kind of like pushing it back, and like, okay, it's like we're going to go at like 10, and then the next time I asked her, she's like, after lunch. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So I ended up having the neighbor kid come over, and we worked on his cutting board. We oiled it up with some bumble shoots.
Yes.
And yep. And which was funny. Like every time we oiled it up, he's like, "Okay, now what happened? We're done, right?" It's like every step of the process making this cutting board. It's like we cut it and I glued in the extra pieces of walnut. And he's like, "Okay, we're done now, right?" I'm like, "No, bro. Like we gotta shape it." He's like, "Oh God, okay." So I shape it. He's like, "Okay, now we're done, right?" I'm like, "No, now we have to sand it." He's like, "This is taking forever." I'm like, "No shit." He's like, "Do you sell these things?" And I was like, "Well, not when I'm giving them away for free to you." So like, he's like, "So get to sanding, dude."
Yeah, shut up and get to work.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to make it like too good of an experience for him where he wants to be in there all the time, because I'll never get anything done. Like he asked me at least 15 times if I could stop making the cutting board and make him nunchucks. And I was like, dude, if I'm stopping this cutting board, I'm making other shit. I'm not making you nunchucks. I was like, the last thing I need to do is see you knock your brother's tooth out, and your dad's like, "Hey, where'd you get those nunchucks?" Like, "Oh, Luke from next door made them for me." Like, so anyways, so he came over, and then so we ended up going to my wife's parents, and then on Sunday he came over at like 8 in the morning, and we waxed the board, and he brought it home to his mom, and then I was like, "Now we're done." And dude, I've never seen this kid bolted out the door with the cutting board like he stole it. Jumped the fence. I was like, "You want me to help you?" He's like, "No." He hopped the fence. He runs inside. He's like, couldn't wait to give it to his mom. And I was like, "All right, cool, bro. I gotta go." So then I went to my parents' house, and then I visited my brother, and then by the time I got home, like I assumed my wife would want to hang out with us, and she was like spent like a few hours trying to uproot this big ass bush that we had in our yard, and like so she was like trying to dig a hole. She had like I gave her like a little like a little saw, and I gave her like an axe and like the things I thought she'd need to do this. And like I came back and she's just like she was still working on this thing, and I was like, "What do you want me to do?" And she's like, "Leave me alone. Go in the shop," which is like. Which I realized for her, like when she says go into the shop, when she tells me I should go into the shop, it's the equivalent of me telling my kids, like, hey, why don't you go watch a movie? Like, just leave me alone. Like, go do your thing. I want to do my thing. So she sent me in there, and that's when I was like, well, let me see what Ben is doing. And you were every time I reach out to you now, you're too bit. You're
oh, that's not true. I was just. It was Mother's Day. So we were doing Mother's Day things. We were at her mom's house. We were having dinner. We went on a bike ride. You called me right before we were going on a bike ride, and like literally, I got on my bike, and you right before you called, I had just gotten my bike. We were talking, and then all of a sudden, I thought I had a few minutes, but no. Then the rest of the family all came out on their bikes, and it was just like, all right, man, I got to go ride a bike. And I was actually riding it, talking to you, and you were like, yeah, go hang out with your family.
Yeah, like seriously, bro. Like I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Ben? Like you're like, it's real. I'm hanging out with the family. It's Mother's Day, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's cool, man. And you just kept talking, and I was like, he should go be with his. Like my family doesn't want to be with me right now, so like your family was like really excited that you were there. So I was like, you should probably. Well, you still got that. Why don't you just go there?
Yeah. No, it was cool. It was a good Mother's Day. We hung out. The day before we went out and got bikes. Yeah, because we didn't have bikes prior to that. Myself and Debbie.
Like you bought bikes or you rented bikes?
Yeah, we bought bikes. We went. So Saturday morning we woke up and we were like, it'd be kind of fun to go on a bike ride, but we had just sold our old bikes because they were just old pieces of crap, so we got rid of them. And so we were like, okay, let's go try and find some new bikes on OfferUp. So that's what we did. We went on OfferUp, looked up, and we ended up finding two bikes for $150. Basically, hers was 50, mine was 100.
Wow.
I mean, dude, two, and they were both in great condition. They both were ready to go. Like, didn't have to do any repairs on them or anything. They just basically scooped them up from the people's houses and went off on a bike ride. It was great. So,
I mean, let's be real, dude. You only needed that bike to go that one bike ride, and then after that, it's like going back in storage, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
Are you going to be a bike ride guy now?
The kids want to go on bike rides, so I decided, why not? I didn't get myself like a 10-speed or anything. I just got a little beach cruiser, something that's easy and relaxing to ride. And but yeah, so we did that on Mother's Day, and I was going to take you along for the ride, but you were like, go hang out with your family, and you made me feel bad, so I did. I went and hung out with my family.
Sorry to guilt you into hanging out with your family, bro. That was not my intention. Next time I'll say fuck your family and you just hang out with me.
It was fun though. We had a good time.
So wait, so those beach cruisers, man, those things are like weigh like 1,000 pounds, don't they?
Not the ones, not today's versions of them. The old school ones were like really heavy. The one I have is like pretty light. Actually, it's like a newer model. Ride? Yeah, it's really easy to ride. It's smaller too. It's like almost like it's a little bit bigger than a BMX. It's not like a full old school full size beach cruiser. Mm-hmm. It's more of a squattier style. It's like
the 3 foot wide handlebars.
Oh yeah, man! I got the big old handlebars on it where they're like up here near my ears as I'm riding it. But it's fun. Yeah, it's a blast. It's so much fun. But yeah, that's what we did for Mother's Day.
Wait, so you're going to be going on more bike rides with the kids now?
I hope to. I mean,
it's nice.
I think it'll be fun. You know what I mean? Not going Tour de France, dude. Like literally just around my neighborhood, like little bike rides. You know what I mean? Like nothing too crazy.
I keep trying to get Bubs to get off the stupid training wheels. He like we took him off last summer, and he rode it for a little bit, and like he was like, and like he was just about to get it, like he was so close to getting it, and then he was like, nah, screw this, I put the training wheels back on, and I was like, well, I'm not like going to help you continue to ride this thing with training wheels. I'm like, you're 5 years old. Now he's 6. I'm like, we're going to give it another shot this summer because I'd like to go on a bike ride to go get ice cream and stuff. That would be my move. So,
well, but your goal is to get your kids bike riding so you can go to get ice cream. Most people ride bikes for exercise. You're like, nope, this is just going to be a delivery service for getting myself to the ice cream parlor.
Yeah, that feels like the right move for me. But I don't know. They're just so weird about stuff.
Does Ellie ride?
Oh yeah, dude. Like Ellie is really athletic. So like the first time I took her, she was like between 3 and 4, I think. She was real young, and she was like, "Dad, I want to try to ride my bike with no training wheels." And I was like, "Are you sure about that? Like, you're really young for this." And she was like, "Yeah, let's go." And like, honest to God, within 5 seconds, she was riding with no training wheels. And she was like, "Oh, I got this." And like ever since then, she's great at riding a bike. Like she picks up soccer, she picks up sports, she picks up archery, like anything physical, she picks up. And Bubs just doesn't have the interest. He's just like, It's like, the kid's so weird, man. He doesn't want to play sports. He doesn't like sports.
Is he not driven by? Does he not driven by like the competition of beating his sister or being as good as his sister or like wanting to be like his sister? Because that's what drives Frankie. When we got her off the training wheels, like literally she was off her training wheels, the same thing, like real super quick, like within like an hour, on one Saturday morning. And within like an hour of her being off the training wheels, Frankie was like, I'm in, I want to do the same thing, get the training wheels off. And he started riding without training wheels like the same day as well. So he's not driven that way.
He's not wired. I don't know, man. I'm afraid he's wired like me. And the thing is that I really can't give him that much shit because I don't think I learned riding my bike until I was 7. Right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I like I don't remember why that is, right? But I do remember that it wasn't until like I was 7. Then when I got it, I was like, oh yeah, bike riding, cool. And like I could pick up. I'm not. I mean, obviously I'm an athlete, but I could pick up physical physical stuff pretty easily. I just don't care enough to get good at it, So it's like I just want to get to the level where, like with golf, it's like, look, I just want to be able to hit it in the middle most of the time. I don't care how far I hit it, and I don't care if I max out every hole. It's like, it doesn't make. I just don't want to have to go look for my ball. Yeah,
that's not even easy at all. I mean, just hitting it straight is one of the hardest things to do about golf.
Yeah, it's like most of the time I'm just not hitting it that hard because I'm like, I don't want it to go that far. I don't want to walk that far to go get it. Like, so fuck it. It's like,
that's the rule. That's the rookie move, man. You gotta cart that thing.
Dude, I used to treat golf like bowling. It's like I'm going there to get fucked up. And like if the sport is the side piece to the getting hammered. So
yeah, that's hilarious, dude. Do your kids get addicted to things quickly? Or they're so addicted to something that they like just certain things get like pushed to the side that you would think are like shouldn't, you know what I mean?
like
example,
what?
Like my kids are like Frankie's like super addicted to watching YouTube, right? So we've had to dial him back to like one day a week basically. Mm-hmm. And like it's like he's allowed to watch YouTube on Fridays because he gets so excited about it and he gets so into it that he'll just like he gets locked in, dude, and nothing else matters to him, right? So like the house could be on fire and he's like not getting up if he's watching his YouTube. So
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, are your kids like that?
Bubs is like Bubs is going to be the one with a drinking drug problem. He like all he cares about is watching television. Like he's just like, I just want to watch, and he could sit there for an infinite amount of time, and at the end of it, you're like, Bubs, like you got to stop now, and he'll start freaking out because he's like, he's like, it wasn't enough time, and I'm like, Bubs, you watch TV for 6 hours. I'm like, that's more than enough time, Yeah. but like not like they get like Ellie is addicted to her friends right now. That's
Yeah.
the most important thing to her right now. She wants to be with her friends as much as possible. So, and she's like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to help her with some like, she's having some like what I imagine is like preteen type issues, and it's like, God, I feel fortunate that she even talks to me about it because she doesn't like talking to me about her feelings, and then she starts talking to me about it, and I'm like, oh God, I'm like, your mom is way better at this. Your mom is way better at this. You know, it's like, so I don't know if I'm giving her the right advice, and she's like, I'm like, so what's the problem? And she's like, you know, so the main core of her is three girls, her and these two others, right? And one of them is a year older than them, right? So she's in third grade, and you know, she's a year older, so they both kind of look up to her, like, you know, like definitely, the older girls is kind of like the ringleader, you know, and so, you know, like the other day, Ellie's like, you know, she came home and she ignored her friends getting off the bus, and normally she's like, when's the play date? And she comes home and like she was actually hanging out with her brother, and I'm like, are things that bad? I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know, like that's a huge red flag if like she's willingly hanging out with her brother and like, like they're being kind to each other. I'm like, something's wrong. I'm like, so, I'm like, what's going on? She's like, you know, I just don't like it. She's like, you know, she's like her one friend who's her age. She's like, I hate it that she keeps licking me when we're on the bus.
What?
And I was like, immediately in my head, I'm like, well, fuck that one, because I don't know how to help her with that. I'm like, well, did you tell her to stop? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, and she didn't stop. I'm like, did you tell her you don't like it? She's like, yeah. I said, so what'd you do then? She's like, well, if I ignore her and don't talk to her, she doesn't do it. And I'm like, that's actually probably a good way to handle it. I'm like, because I don't know what else to tell you. And like, maybe you should bring that one up to your mom, which totally discredits me, right? From her talking to me in the future. But then the other one was like, she's like, and then I hate it. She's like, because when we're all hanging out, she's like, you know, my one friend doesn't pay me any attention, right? She only wants to pay attention to the older girl, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm like, I can help you with that, but I don't know if you're going to understand what I'm going to try to explain to you. And she's like, well, okay, well, you know, she does. I don't know. She says she understands things even if she doesn't. So I don't know. You know, so I told her, you know, I was like, well, I go, how does the older girl feel about the younger girl? And she's like, well, she's really annoyed by her most of the time. I said, well, then, honest to God, Ellie, I go, just go there and have fun and don't worry about it because that will work itself out. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, honestly, you know, the more attention the one girl gives the other girl, they're going to end up focusing on you at some point. I'm like, so just be patient.
Yeah.
Which is like to an 8-year-old, it's like basically like, you know, the worst advice is be patient. So I'm like, honestly, I go, you're going to deal with these problems well until you're about 30 years old. And then you're just going to realize how stupid this idea is. And I'm like, just focus on loving yourself, you know, and like, don't worry about who likes you more or who likes you less. I'm like, as long as you love yourself, I'm like, the rest of it will work itself out.
Yeah,
then,
especially with little kids, you know.
Yeah, and then so she went off and played for a little bit, and then next thing I know, she's smiling and laughing and running out the door to go play with her friends. And like she went out and hung out with them, and then you know, when she came back, I was like, so what changed? Like, why did you all of a sudden decide to go hang out? She's like, I talked to mom. I was like, oh God. I was like, was any of my advice worthwhile? She's like, don't worry, Dad. Your advice was good. I'm like, man, like she's so mature for an 8-year-old. I'm just like, I hate every bit of it. I'm like, oh God, you know, and like that's, I think the core of the problem is that she's always trying to parent Bubs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm always telling her not to. But her argument is like, well, I'm more than qualified, which she's not wrong. Like,
it's so true.
I can handle this, Dad. Let me handle it my way. And it's the equivalent of me telling a mechanic how to fix my car, right? She's way better at it than I am. So I'm like,
she's seen you handle it, and she's like, look, I deal with him all the time, Dad. Like she's, you only deal with him every once in a while. I deal with him all the time. I know exactly how to deal with him. You just let
Yeah,
me handle it. Let me handle it.
yeah.
It's too funny,
Uh,
dude. The reason I brought it up is because Frankie the other day, he's so addicted to YouTube that fucking it was Friday. The whole week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Actually, I think it was only like 3 of the days. It was like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. His little girlfriend, Marilyn, who's like they're like
mhm.
besties, right? At school. Her
Okay.
her and her sister's grandparents are next door neighbors. Right? Just we found
Oh,
that
okay.
out like halfway through the school year that her grandparents are like we saw her mom there one day and we were like, what the hell? What are you doing here? And she's like, these are my parents. And we were like, what? That is a small
Oh,
world.
wow.
That is a small world. So they come over to the fence and they'll like, our back fence. So our kids will be
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and they'll like after school, they'll come over and, like if they want to play, they'll come in our backyard and play. So like Monday they came over and played for like 2 hours. I don't think they came over Tuesday, but like Wednesday they came over for a couple hours. Thursday they came over, and he's like all about this little girl, right? Like she's
Yeah.
like his best friend. They draw notes to each other. They like that's like his crush. Remember I told you he's crushing
Oh,
on
yeah.
somebody. This is his crush, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. So he's like all excited every time she comes over. Like as soon as we get out of school, he's like, "Dad, I'm going to go up on the hill and wait for Marilyn." And I'm like, "All right, cool. That's cool." Friday comes around, and he gets out of school. He comes home, and he remembered like he had forgotten like we don't let him watch YouTube all week. Yeah, so Monday,
Yeah,
Tuesday,
yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, he's not watching it. So Friday comes around, and he's like, I'm like, hey, is Marilyn coming over? And he's like, yeah, she said she's gonna come over. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's the last day of the week. Friday is good. Good time to hang out with them again on Friday. And it
Mhm.
clicked in his brain. He's like, Friday. And they're there now. They're up on the hill looking over the fence. Frankie, hey Frankie, and he clicked in his head. Friday is YouTube day, and all of a sudden he looked at me. He's like, "Dad, I don't want to hang out with them." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's all, "It's Friday. It's my only day to watch YouTube." I'm like, "Your friends are right there, like looking over the fence, yelling at you, and you're trying to tell me you don't want to play with them." He's like, "Sorry, Dad, it's YouTube day." I'm like, "Nah, you got to tell them." Like, I'm not going to be the one who tells them you don't want to play with them. So he's like, he literally went up to the top of the hill, told them, "Sorry guys, I don't want to play anymore because I want to go watch YouTube." He came back down and went and watched YouTube. I was like, "Wow, that kid is like he's
Fucking
even a
savage.
girl is like not even in his peripheral. He's like, it's YouTube day. I'm all about YouTube." It's just so funny, man.
I mean, that's serious, man. Jeez. Ellie does that to me sometimes, where like we'll be getting off the bus, and I can tell she's in a mood, and that my neighbor or her friend's dad will be there, and they'll be like, "Hey guys, you gonna have a play date?" And Ellie's like looking at me like, "No," and I'm like, and he's like, Mia's free until X o'clock, and you guys can play here. You could go to your house, whatever you want. And like Ellie's looking at me like, "Fuck that." I'm like, "Oh God." And she's like, "What do you think?" And I look at like Ellie, "What do you think?" And she's like, I got homework to do. And I'm like, "You do?" She's like, "Yes, I have homework." I'm like, "Ellie, she's in your class." I'm like, "You realize that might not be the best excuse, right?" Like, like you guys have the same amount of work to do, like. So like I was like, well, and I could tell, like, so I was like, I gotta throw her a bone. So I'd say, hey, look, I need her to do some stuff around the house before she does anything else. So when she's done, I'll let her come by if there's time, right? I'll say something like that, and like the
Yeah,
dad's smart enough to know, like, oh god, daughters, right? Um, so
I love
like
that
like
he's
I'll be,
trying to do her social calendar though for his daughter though. Like
oh yeah,
she's
and like
available anytime right now after school.
I'm like so like Ellie, I'm like we're walking home after that, and I'm like, do I need to like teach you like some cues on how I can help you with this? She's like, well, like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, like you could say things like, hey, Dad, do you want to finish that project together, right? And or like, hey, I want to go to the store with Mom or something like that. I'm like, I could give you a couple like legitimately sounding excuses to try to help you talk your way out of this, because it's the same thing. If if I say, well, Ellie, you have to talk to her and tell her this, right? Like at first, when she first started doing it, she's like, I don't want to hang out with you today. And she'd turn around and walk away. And I was like, oh God, like this is the reason your friend acts crazy around you, is because you pull shit like this, you know? And like, so at least I've gotten to the point where she's like, well, I just want to do some stuff first and go home first. I'm like, that's a much better way to handle this. And I'm like, oh God. Like, so like my wife is like teaching her all of like the regular social skills that like people need. And like, I'm teaching her like, here's how to talk your way out of a bad situation.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. And Ben has left. He's left his microphone unattended. His chair is spinning. He's gone. He's probably trying to throw up in a bucket right now. Maybe he just needed to fart off camera. Who knows? And he's back.
My refrigerator that's dying was fucking squealing. I'm like, Jesus, dude. I hope this is not getting picked up on the microphone.
It was not. No, I talked the whole time you were gone. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah. Dude, when are you gonna get rid of that thing?
I don't know, man. This thing's dying.
What's in it? Drinks or anything?
There's drinks. I put my waters and stuff like that. It's just really more of an overflow refrigerator. You know what I mean? Like when we like go shopping and there's like too much stuff to fit in our actual refrigerator, we put the overflow stuff out here. You know what I mean? Which is and then waters and sometimes my Reese's Pieces and stuff like that. Things I want to keep cold. Speaking of which, Chris, our buddy Chris Knorr.
Yeah.
He sent us a message this morning.
His donut video.
His donut survival kit, which made me think about like it was a great video. You guys need to go check it out. It's on Instagram. It's on his page. But he does this whole serious video. You know, the whole thing's like, you know, about, you know, get your survival kit and be ready or whatever it is. And you see him going to the garage and it's like a slow paced video where he walks in, grabs this survival kit, and it's like he's walking all the way through the house with it. You know, it's all serious. He sits it down on the table, you know, all serious. And then he goes to open it and he opens it up and it's got a box of donuts in it. And he sent it directly to me and you specifically, which I thought was hilarious.
Well, like, what I liked is he opened it up and he was like, "Oh, it's the donuts," and he's like, he goes to close it. He's like, "You know what? I'll have one."
Yeah, he's like, it's one of those times. And it made me start to think about like what would be in your survival kit, dude. Like if you had to pack your survival kit for yourself, what would you put in it?
Like food wise?
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever it is that you're going to need to survive. What's going in that thing?
Oh man, jeez. You know, I would probably like if I was going to base it off of what I eat on a daily basis. It's going to have like a couple it's going to have like a box of cereal in there. You know, like some, you know, I don't know, man. Like what would be in this survival kit? I have to think about it. Why? What would be in yours? Give me a chance to think about this for a second.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we could just stick to food. Basically.
Maybe
yeah.
I might just be like Chris and just have a box of donuts in there. It wasn't a bad idea.
It wasn't a bad idea. A box of donuts. It made me think like,
too.
Yeah, what would I want in my? It's obviously not a survival kit. It was like joking, like your food stash survival kit. You know, what are you gonna put in it? And I was thinking definitely. I was gonna say beef jerky because me and Debbie are big beef jerky people. We like when we travel, we seek out beef jerky. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like different. Yeah. Whenever we go someplace, we like always are looking for like one of those little beef jerky stands. You know what I mean? Like when we're on a road trip or something.
Some fresh jerky.
Some fresh jerky. There's a spot on the way to Vegas and they sell alien jerky, which is just a great name. It's a great name it's just beef jerky, but they call it alien jerky. Like that's their shtick. There's like a huge robot or a huge like alien looking thing in front of their shop and everything that they put out there, and it's just, you know, it's just their shtick on it. But
what's your favorite? Like when you so I like beef jerky too.
Yeah,
but I like every time I see like jerky in the store, and it's like a brand I haven't heard of before, I'm always like a little bit like, because I like a very specific kind of jerky. I like it where it's like where it's not really like, I like it thin and I like it chewy, but I don't like it like sometimes you get it and it's like a thick cut jerky, and I'm like, is it wait? I just don't enjoy that as much. I don't know.
Do you want it? Do you want it drier? Because I know there's some people like their jerky drier. You know what I mean, where it's not as juicy.
I don't mind it if it's a little bit. I don't mind if it's a little bit, if it's not dried completely, but just the thickness for me. So like sometimes you get it and it's like twice as thick as like a Hershey's bar, right?
Oh wow, yeah, that's some serious thick jerky right there.
Yeah, and I'm like, but I will say though, when I go to Wisconsin, they have this thing there that you could find at butcher shops and at like meat and cheese places called a Landjaeger. You ever heard of that?
No.
It's kind of like a dried salami stick, but it's
okay.
Some of them are like incredible. You know,
I like dried salami.
I like salami sticks. That's a good one for me.
Yeah, salami, dude. And as a kid, my dad, that was like a go-to. Was like you just grab, like whenever we go camping or any, a day trip out on, bring a stick of salami and a thing of cheese, a block of cheese, and that's the snack. You know what I mean? But jerky wise, for me, it's like I prefer like a. Debbie really prefers like a teriyaki, so it's like more juicier, a little thicker cut. I prefer like a drier, like a lemon pepper or some sort of drier rub kind of jerky, preferably. So that's what I prefer. So like in my survival kit, it would definitely have to have jerky, and then I definitely have to have chocolate, some sort of chocolate. You know what I mean? Like that's a go-to for me. Like every night, I'm searching our house for. Like I had 2 cups of chocolate milk last night because I'm out of chocolate in my house. I can't find chocolate, so. Halfway through the night, I had a thing of chocolate milk, and then right before the bedtime, oh, dude, Bruce kind of showed up.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Bruce tried to get out. What happened?
So Debbie went to bed, right, and I stayed out. I stayed out in the garage, and I was watching. I've been watching Winning Time, the Lakers thing on HBO. The show, which is really good if you're into the Lakers at all, or even if you just like sports or basketball, or even you just like HBO shows. That's a good one. Winning Time.
Wait, so you have HBO now?
So after we had talked a couple weeks ago about it, and you were like, you got to get HBO, you got to watch Nobody, you got. I did a little quick search and I found my friend Anna. She is rocking. She's rocking the HBO subscription.
The Bomb Breaker.
And I asked her, I was like, hey, do you mind if I jump in on that? And she was like, no, go ahead, use it. So I was like, sweet. So I watched Nobody. Obviously, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, did we talk about it? We talked about it yesterday on the podcast.
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast you deleted.
on the podcast that will never be heard of.
Do you want to check to see if your computer's still plugged in?
It is. I'm looking at the little green light right there. It's 100%. I got the little lightning bolt. We're good to go.
Excellent.
But Nobody. We can quickly, because that was a great movie. Bob Odenkirk. If you guys haven't seen it, go check that out. It's an amazing movie. And
the bus fight scene alone is worth watching that movie.
Yeah, for sure. You kept telling me about it over and over again, and I was just like, fine, I gotta watch this movie, and I finally watched it. So that was awesome. But Winning Time's great. I'm watching that. But so I was up late last night again watching that, and me and Debbie had been smoking, and when she went to bed, I think I smoked another bowl by myself, and it was like midnight-ish when I was when I was finding myself nodding off in the chair, and that's when I'm always like, okay, it's time to go. But I started.
You're giving the Bruce the head nod for it's all good, bro. You can take over.
It's like that Carrie Underwood song, "Jesus Take the Wheel." It's like, Bruce, take the wheel.
Oh man.
So no, I ended up, as I do in those situations, I woke up in the kitchen and in my hands I had, this is how I know it was fucking Bruce, because he's obviously does weird things, right? So like in my hand when I woke up, I had a bag of trail mix, and I can only assume that I had opened the bag of trail mix looking for the chocolate M&Ms inside, because I was searching for chocolate. And I would, in my right mind, would never go to trail mix to find chocolate, because then obviously you got to pick through it and everything. So, but yeah,
Bruce is like, you're not looking hard enough, bro.
there's chocolate in here, bro.
So wait, was all the chocolate picked out of the trail mix?
No, I woke up after I had come to, after I had opened the bag and had it in my hand. I realized what I was doing, and I was like, "Oh shit, Bruce, what are you doing?"
Was there chocolate in there though?
Yeah, there's chocolate. There's chocolate.
Dude, hooked you. Wait, Bruce hooked you up then?
Yeah, he found me chocolate.
He's just like, look, I need like 5 minutes to just nod off a little bit. Oh, he's out. I'm just go get that bag with the chocolate. Like, here, now wake up, bro. There's your chocolate. God damn it.
Oh, so I found some chocolate, and then after I ate that chocolate, I made myself, before I went to bed and crashed out, I made myself another cup of chocolate milk, and I drank that right before bed. Then I went and passed out.
Are you familiar with a 5-minute mug cake?
No, what is this?
Oh my fucking Lord, dude! I'm about to change your life. Okay, again, dude, I'm like all I do is make your life better. So
true.
It's a simple recipe, right? That you could Google 5-minute mug cake, and you're gonna find like 1,000 recipes.
All right.
But basically, you crack an egg, some flour, a little bit of salt, like chocolate powder, chocolate chip, you could use like hot chocolate powder, right?
Okay.
You don't have to use like cocoa powder, but if you have cocoa powder, even better.
Yeah.
Some chocolate chips, maybe a little like a tablespoon of water and oil or some shit, and you mix it all up in the mug, and then you put it in the microwave for like 4 minutes, and it comes out like a lava cake.
Oh wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, bro. And so like back in the day when I used to do that to myself, where I wouldn't keep like sweets in the house, but I had all the ingredients for the 5-minute mug cake. So I was like, well, look, bro, if you really want to be that fat and fucking happy, like I'm just gonna make you jump through a couple hoops to do it. But oh man, I made a lot of those mug cakes, man. Oh, they're great because you could either eat them out of the mug, right? Like you could like spoon a spoonful of ice cream on it, right?
Yeah.
Or you could take the mug and flip it over, and and lift the mug up, and it just like slides out of the mug, right?
Oh,
and it's a perfect cake, and it's like 4 or 5 minutes in the microwave, bro. It's just Google 5-minute mug cake, chocolate mug cake, and I guarantee you'll make one this weekend just to be like, well, let me see if this is really something. Yeah. And then like next podcast, you're gonna be like, so I've made 17 of these so far.
So I'm opening a mug cake bakery.
Yeah, basically. You're like I've already portioned out I made like enough to make 12 mug cakes, and then I just took all the ingredients, put them in separate Ziplocs, so that way I could just pipe them into the bag and just throw them into the microwave and be good to go.
Look, I got to make this as easy on Bruce as possible. I gotta do a little work for me, a little pre-work ahead of time to make it easier on Bruce down the road. That's all.
Look, I wonder if Bruce is literate though, because clearly, if he's opening up rye bread, it's like, what you think that was, bro? maybe he's like has really poor vision and he just can't see the labels on the bag or some shit.
Since we're in our food section of the podcast, I think I want to bring this up real quick. I sent you right before the podcast. I was scrolling through Instagram and I was just like looking at all these food pages, because that's kind of like what I do, and I found this one that I had never seen before, and it was a food ASMR post, and it was from this damn it, I should have wrote down the name of the page. It was like,
I got it right here.
Oh, do you have it in front of you?
I was literally looking at this 5 minutes ago, or not 5 minutes ago, but
but
Conderosa.
That's me.
Sassatube.
Sassatube.
Sassittube.
Oh my
Wait,
gosh, dude.
Wait, the whole channel is just fucking this girl eating? That's
Yes,
it.
this is the whole
Holy
channel.
Shit.
The whole channel is this girl. This I don't want to assume what nationality she is. She's Korean or Chinese or Japanese. I'm not sure.
She's Thai. She's Canadian and Thai.
Oh, Canadian Thai. Okay. But she's eating. That's what she does. She eats food, but she does it in a way where you only see, like, most of her videos are from like nose, like right below her nose down, and then a pile of food in front of her. So you see like her mouth.
She's posting clips from a YouTube channel. Dude, she has a YouTube channel. Wait, hold up. She has. I mean, there's one video. Jesus Christ! Like, she has no reels on her page. It's all posted video in the horizontal format. Let's see here. Holy ballsack. Okay. So
What?
she has 1.6 million followers on Instagram. Guess how many YouTube subscribers she has?
She has 1.7 million, and I'm saying 2.5.
9.35 million.
Jesus.
Okay. And her most popular video is 4 years ago of her eating honeycomb, and it has 50 million views.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
Dude, she has one of
God.
her eating octopus that's 28 million views. What, her eating aloe vera, and all of it is ASMR. Dude, giant claw, salmon sashimi, grapes. Like, Jesus Christ, these videos, like, I mean, if I knew I could get fucking rich on YouTube just eating, like,
yo,
like,
that's the difference, though. That's the difference, though.
Bro, it's like fucking each one of these videos is like 15 minutes long.
She's an attractive young lady, and she's eating, food, but that's the thing is, like, I sent it to you because I was curious, like, what you thought. You know what I mean? Like, she's in the video I sent you, she's eating sausage, like, dipped in cheese. She's eating, like, these little hard-boiled eggs.
She's like licking her fingers and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
So I was curious, like, is this something that's like sexy to you, or is it something that's gross to you, like watching somebody else eat?
I would probably. I mean, it's very conflicting, right? Because, like,
I know, like, it would be.
It really is, because I'm just fascinated with the success she's having, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, I'm not getting anything out of it. Like, it's like she's like eating like a stuffed red pepper, and like she bites it inside of it, and like it's squishing out, and like, she's just eating this thing like with no silverware, and I'm like, yeah, I don't get this. Like,
and
but at the same time, the video's got fucking millions of views. It's like,
well, somebody's got to be into this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like people who are just like grossed out by it. It can't be. It's got to be people who are like seriously into it for her to have 9 million subscribers on YouTube. It's just insane,
dude. It's like, I mean, when you have that many followers, right? Even on Instagram, right? It's like, I mean, like, yeah, it's like, here's 200,000 views on it, like 300,000 views. This is on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Here's another one, 300,000. You don't have like a ton of comments, but like, you could imagine, like, when you have that kind of a following, like, there's people that follow her. They're like, oh fuck yeah, she posts. Let's see what she's gonna eat today.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
Like, and like I don't know, man. It's like these fetishes, like the foot fetish thing and the furry fetish, and like,
yes,
like all these ones. Like I never, like the bondage, or like all these like kind of sexual or legit sexual like fetishes, man. Like, I don't know, man. I get it. Like, people are into some weird shit. Probably people that are out there that think woodworking's weird shit. But I know 3D printing's weird shit. But yeah, I don't.
It's just weird because, like, it's so conflicting in my mind and yours, I'm assuming, and most people who are super into food, right? We're foodies. Like, we're people who like to eat. I wouldn't consider myself a foodie. I just like to eat food. But
Is there a foodie category that's just based on volume and not quality?
Because that's where I fit in.
I don't know, man. Like I like yeah, like I don't like I don't think I'm a foodie either. But
you're
like,
definitely more of a foodie than I am, definitely. But
well, I there was a point in time where I was kind of like a foodie, but like it's a lot of work, man. And like I don't understand like people posting pictures of their food, and I don't understand like some of these other ones that are like, oh, like I also don't understand when like why tool unboxing videos do so well on Instagram. I like I don't get any of these, man. It's
because people want to see what they want. You know what I'm saying? That it gives them something to.
Is that what
it's
it
like
is?
kids. It's like kids watching other kids open toys, right? Like they get something out of it. Like my kids will watch other kids open toys all day long, and it's like, dude, why do you enjoy that so much?
I just was looking at that video you sent me, and I just kept waiting for her to like eat that giant sausage on her plate, and like instead she was like dipping eggs in some sauce, and like it's like dripping down her face, and I'm like, there's fucking dudes with raging boners right now. There's probably girls that are fucking freaking out right now over this shit. Like
she purposely like put that sausage in a way that it looks like it's like sitting up at an angle, like
looks
right
like an erect penis. Like
she knows what she's doing.
Oh yeah, she's a pro. Like you don't get 9 million YouTube followers. Like I guarantee you, dude. Too. Like if wait. So let's see here. Like I keep going back to her account. Like I
of course
just
you are
there. Like because I'm like well, she's probably got a TikTok too, right? Like you got to figure it.
Oh yeah, I bet she does.
Oh wait, she has a secondary channel, which is like her traveling and working out. Wait, she's working out here. It's like it's
she's
like her
all the fetishes, man. She's
dude, and her other and her other channel has like 120,000 followers.
Yeah,
like
not as popular as the food one. But it's crazy, man. Like that whole side of the food industry, the whole ASMR like people pages. There's a lot of them, not just her. There's a ton of them. I was just blown away.
I just I noticed that I had one follower in common with her, and I was like, "Who the hell is this person?" And I checked the person out. And I'm like, "Why am I just unfollowed the other person?" Like, there you go.
You had to make room for her. You had to make room for her. That's the difference. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Like there's that girl who does all the woodworking in her bikini that you were talking about. Oh, wait, you were talking about it. Wait, yeah. Wait, when you embarrassed yourself, that was one of the stories we talked about last time. When you embarrassed yourself in front of your son's teacher, dude. Why don't you tell that story? Yeah,
I will. We were going to get to that when we talked about it, what we did in our shop this week. On the what's on your bench section of our podcast,
the who the fuck cares section of the podcast. What's on your bench, Luke? Fucking shit! It's a huge mess. Now let's move on. I hate talking about woodworking.
So yeah, okay, I'll tell that story since we told it yesterday. I got to retell it. So
I don't remember any of my embarrassing stories from yesterday. So
don't worry, I remember all of them. It was Teacher Appreciation Week last week, and we'll come back to we're going to get back to this. I have some other stuff I want to talk to you about. What we watched this week too, so don't let me forget about that.
Dude, we're gonna have to do an offcuts, man, because like we're already pushing an hour, bro. So
I know you're right. So it was Teacher Appreciation Week this week, and Debbie was like, we should make something, and I was like, sweet, I'll figure that out. And our man Dave Miller, who had just put out, he made these full-size charcuterie boards for his teachers, and they had like a teacher recipe, like a pinch of this and a pinch of understanding and a dab of this and that, and we're amazing teachers, yay! And so
and you made yours look like a paddle.
Yeah, ours were small. I made mine smaller, right? So it looked like it was a mini charcuterie board, but yes, it looked exactly like a paddle.
Be honest, did you make it so that way it would fit in the drawer of a nightstand?
Yes, exactly. That's the plan.
Hey, babe, you ready for your pinch of understanding right now?
The pinch of understanding. That's what we should name it. The pinch of understanding. So I made.
Great.
two of them for their teachers, right? And they were smaller, like I said. And I gave them on Friday. We gave them to the kids to take the class in their backpacks. And afterwards, I went and picked up Penny, and her teacher came out, and she was super excited, or Frankie, sorry. And he was super excited, and she was like, "Oh yeah, thank you so much." And I was like, "Sweet." Went home. Penny gets out of school like an hour and a half later. So while I was at home, I was, doing whatever I'm doing, in the shop and everything. And I sat down and I was looking at Instagram. And as I'm looking at Instagram, one of our, favorite people that we listen or we watch and follow and like talk about all the time is this guy, Justin _Danger Nunley or Nunn, whatever his last name is. He's the one who always goes, "Listen, did you know da 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 da?" And he has like a fun fact afterwards. But he always has these really funny videos. And the one that was on you were describing was that girl who has a woodworking channel, but she does it all.
Stained in Ink is the channel.
Stained in Ink.
I'm a big fan of the channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say
she does some really great woodworking.
But she always is in a bikini, right? And she has a large.
She's very attractive.
Very well endowed. Yes,
and she shows all of it. It's insane.
So he did a video.
It's definitely not safe.
Yes, not safe for work. Exactly. He did a video of her, where he's watching her do woodworking, and then his wife walks in and goes, "What are you watching?" He's like, "This old house," and she's like, "That ain't Bob Vila." Yeah. And he goes, "You're a Christian. Jesus was a carpenter," or something like that. That was the joke. And then listen, such and such, whatever. But I'm watching that video, and then I realized, oh shit, I got to go get Penny. So that video's on, and I just take my phone and I just close it and put it in my pocket. Go to get Penny, pick her up. Her teacher comes out. "Thank you so much for the gift. I loved it. It was awesome. I showed it to the other teachers. They loved it. I really want to order a big charcuterie board from you now. So, because we do that all the time, but I don't have any big ones." And I'm like, "Sweet, no problem. Let me show you a few things I can make you. I got it right here on my Instagram." She comes up, stands shoulder to shoulder with me. I pull out my phone and I go click on Instagram. As soon as I click on Instagram, of course, that fucking video is right there on the screen. And so it's this girl bending over gluing wood in a bikini with her tits all hanging out, and fucking the teacher's standing right next to me. I'm like, "Oh shit." I was like, "I'm so sorry." Dude, I was mortified, dude. It was just the worst.
She's probably like, what's that account right there?
Luckily she was really cool about it,
Dude, like what I remember when I was like single in my 20s and early 30s and stuff like that, and like anytime I would be out and I would meet like a girl and I'd be like, "Oh, what do you do?" And she'd be like, "I'm a teacher," right? And I'm like, "Oh, what do you teach?" And if they said anything under than fourth grade, like third, second, first, kindergarten, preschool, those girls were always the craziest. I was like, they were like, in terms of like they were just wild, and I was like, whoa! I'm like, you guys are like right on par with bartenders and waitresses and baristas. Like how and like hairstylists. Like how did you like in the category of like the girls that I was talking to that were the wildest and craziest? That was the list. It was like bartenders, waitresses, hairstylists, and grade school teachers.
Yeah.
So she was probably like, "Fuck yes." Dude, I remember my daughter's preschool teacher, like as soon as she graduated preschool, there was like a little barbecue at one of the parents' houses, and they invited the teacher.
Yeah.
She was smoking weed at the party. I was like, I like this teacher. Like,
dude, when I was growing up, the guy I used to get herb from, when I was, I don't know, 20, 21, 22, he was freaking, him and his roommate, one of them was a principal, one of them was a teacher of an elementary school. They were both educators, and they were selling weed out of their house also.
Yeah, it's because they're smart. Fucking geniuses.
They weren't getting paid. Hopefully they weren't selling it to their kids they were teaching, obviously, but they had to supplement their income somehow. You know what I mean?
Look. There's a. You know what the difference is between selling weed to your students and just selling weed. Period. Is that if you sell weed to a dude and you get caught as a teacher, you're probably going to get fired. But if you sell weed to a student as a teacher, you're going to get fired, but you're also going to end up on the news.
Yeah, or in jail, one of the two.
Yeah, like you dumb fuck. You know.
Oh Jesus, dude. So, anyways, that's what happened with my daughter or my son and daughter's gifts. It was great. The teachers loved them, but I also embarrassed the shit out of myself. But whatever, it is what it is. I told Debbie about it, and she was like, I called her. And I was like, oh, I was so embarrassed. And I told Debbie, and she was like, that was it. That was the reason you were so embarrassed. And I was like, yeah. She's like, it's fine. It's not like she doesn't see. She knows that you're just. She's like, she just probably shook her head and was like, this boy. You know what I mean? Stupid boy.
Look, dude, it could be worse. It could have been like Pornhub.
Yes. It could have been a lot worse. Dude, let's we're at an hour, so let's do our shout outs. Let's do our Patreons, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back for an offcut, guys. So you guys stay tuned for that.
Do you remember who I did my shout outs to?
Oh crap! You lost your shout outs? Yeah, you did.
I lost everything, bro. I told you I deleted it all.
I know at least I remember one of them. I don't remember the second one. Do I remember the second one? I remember the first one. The first one, your shout out this week was for P.L. Smith.
That's right. Yep, I did do a shout out to P.L. Smith. Oh, I remember who the other one was too. So my shout outs this week, P.L. Smith, Luke and Priscilla. They just recently had a baby. And of course the baby, like everything they make, is awesome.
They didn't name it Luke, right? They didn't name it like Luke the Second or Luke whatever.
Oh God, what is their baby's name? It's not Lily, Jane. I forget. Oh man, this is gonna bother me now. I know her kid's name. Damn it! This is the problem. Is like my wife is always like, oh yeah, it was right here. What is it? Hold on. Lily. Yes, I did have it right. It's Lily.
Lily. Lily Smith.
Yes, Lily. Yes, Lily Pearl Smith, I think is the baby's name. So, yeah, I'm like, oh God, I'm so bad at that, dude. Like, you know how long it took me to remember your kids' names were Frankie and Penny? Like,
I'm sure forever.
I can't remember anybody's. Like, you got to talk about your shit a lot for me to really retain that information. Yeah. It's not that I whatever. So, anyways, Luke and Priscilla, they put it on Made for Makers. And like half of the posts I see right now are all Made for Makers posts. It's a huge impact on the community, and it's really kind of getting people motivated to post in where they don't normally post, like your boy Bryce.
Yeah, I was going to say Bryce has posted like 10 or 11 days straight, which is so unlike him.
I mean, really, seeing Bryce post all the time, it has not motivated you to post anymore.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, but so so Luke and Priscilla, great people. P.L. Smith, and then my other shout out is Jordan from Growler Domestics.
Oh yeah,
I saw one of the days of Made for Makers was your crush, your maker crush, and like Jordan has Jordan and I are buddies, and like he is FaceTime me sometimes when he's like in the bathtub, right? Dude, like Jordan likes to get weird with shit, and like I have no comfort zone, so like I'm always like all right, man, like try not to show me your dong. That's like, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But like, I'm not requesting that. If you just want to make that clear, So, but I don't know why we got at that. But dude, like we had one conversation. I had one conversation with Jordan on FaceTime where we had done like the hand mouth.
Yes,
thing, right?
yes.
And we had a whole conversation. Like for like 10 minutes, where we were just talking to hands. Like it was my head talking to his head. So like comes a weird dudes that are a lot of fun. If you haven't checked out Jordan, he's like you on Instagram. He posts when he needs to post, but his business has been blowing up. So he's been just really busy. So
yeah, and he's the king of 2 lies and a truth. He loves that. He loves that game. He used to come on Clubhouse all the time when we were on Clubhouse at the very beginning of the infancy of Clubhouse. And whenever Jordan popped in the room, it was a good time because he always wanted to play Two Lies and a Truth. And his always go to is the Bill Murray. You know what I mean? If you don't know the Bill Murray story, you should definitely get to know Jordan and ask him about Bill Murray and sit down and listen because it's a great one.
Yeah, if I met Bill Murray like that, he'd be in my Two Truths and a Lie story.
Yeah.
You know what, though? You ever seen the movie Dinner for Schmucks?
I think so. Yeah, that's the Ben Stiller one.
Yeah, like where it's a bunch of schmucks who have a dinner and they bring all the weirdest people they can find, right?
Yeah.
I thought he tried doing that to me like a year ago. Like I was sitting there and he's like, hey, he's like, because Lindsay and Craig, Lindsay from Woodbrain and Craig,
yep.
They have their podcast.
Barefoot Forge.
Barefoot Forge, Craig. And so they have their podcast and they've had like huge names on that podcast. And so they were doing during the pandemic, like meetups where everybody just kind of jumped onto like a Zoom call on a Friday, right?
Yeah.
And it was only people who had been on the podcast or their guests, right? So Jordan's like, hey, he's like, you want to come on this thing with me and hang out? And I'm like, yeah, sure, man. Like, it'd be cool to meet some people and talk to some people or whatever. He's like, all right, man. He's like, you got to dress up for this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what do you mean? He's like, dress up for it. It's formal. And I'm like, okay. And it's like Friday at like 9:00 or something, right? Or whatever. And he goes, and he's like, it goes all night. I'm like, okay. So like, I it's like 8:30, 8:45 at night, and I'm like putting on a suit jacket and tie. I'm not putting on the pants and all that, And I'm like, I'm getting ready for this thing, and I got the tie and the jacket and the shirt on, and like, like I was like, I'm not gonna rush into this room. I'm gonna be like 10, 15 minutes late, right? So
yeah.
I roll in like 15 minutes late, and I log in, and all of a sudden, window pops up, and it's Craig, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. He's the only person in there. And I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Luke. Nice to meet you. I'm Jordan's guest for the evening. He was like, I'm like, when does Jordan usually get on this thing? And he was like, oh, he won't be on for like 2 hours. I was like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? So like, I ended up sitting there talking to Craig for a little bit. And then eventually some people started showing up,
Yeah.
And it was interesting. Like it's a different kind of software and like people could go in different rooms and stuff. And like,
Eric, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
I spent most of the time talking to Eric from No Bad Tides.
Yeah.
And like Lindsay showed up and Stu from Yellow Mug was there. And, and everybody was pretty dressed up. And then like Jordan pops on like 2 hours later. He's on there for like 5 minutes. He was like, look, I got this thing going on with this girl right now. He goes, I need to go do some shit. And he's like, I'll talk to you guys. I'll try to come on later if I can. And then he leaves. And I was like, the fuck, man? I'm like, you invited me on this thing. I was looking forward to hanging out with you. I was like, you totally fucking like, catch and released me. Like, oh, hey, talk to these people on my behalf. I gotta go. Like
the bait and switch.
Yeah, so like I was on there till like 11 or midnight or something. And I was like, guys, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I'm just leaving. Bye. It's like, so that's my shout out for the week is Jordan.
Jordan's the best, dude.
I was like, you're a dick. He was like, oh yeah. He goes, that was dick move. He's like, you want to come back on there again with me? I was like, no, I don't want to fall for your stupid joke points in a row.
Oh, dude, that sounds like him so bad. My shout out of the week goes to our friend Jen S at JS _ she's one of those underscores, handcrafted. She's a local woodworker to me out here in Riverside, and she doesn't show her face a lot on her Instagram page, but what she does do is share a lot of great tips, and she makes some awesome stuff. So she just did a remodel of her office upstairs, which turned out beautiful. And then she makes these awesome knife blocks that are magnetic, and basically what they are is they're magnetic. They're kind of like an L shaped, but it leans back instead of straight, and so that
like a cursive L.
like a cursive L, exactly. And you can lay your knives directly and display them on there, and it's like it holds them because there's magnets on the backside. Anyways, go check out her page. I'm doing a horrible job describing it, but it's JS_handcrafted. She makes beautiful things. She's an awesome person, and she's a great follow. So go give her a follow and check her out. That was my shout out of the week.
Shout out of the week.
Yeah.
I got some let's thank some Patreons real quick.
Let's do that.
No new Patreons this week. So we'll just run through them. Kyle Foot from Footwork Woodworks. Miracle Man on the Lathe.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Gerard, the wooden mustache.
Did you see his video this morning where he basically did a video where he was talking to himself, but in the one video he had like that software that covers up your mustache and stuff.
Oh, really?
So he looked like Jack Nicholson in Batman at the very beginning when he's at the art gallery and he has no makeup on, but just the face with the smile. That's exactly what it looked like, dude. Go check it out if you haven't checked it out. Anyways, Matthew Gerard, what's up, man?
Yeah, now he has a dust collector, so he's big time. Lee Oman, which Lee I noticed this week. Do you know he has a bicycle wheel on the ceiling of his shop? That's a
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what he uses? That's crazy.
So he has a board coming off of it, and then it has a little it's like a hockey stick almost.
Okay.
At the end of that, he puts his camera, so he could do top-down shots like within the 360 degrees of this bike wheel, or he could flip his camera up and do multiple angles from it. And like today, he posted a video where he was spinning it around, so the camera was going around his head, which was really cool. And I was like, "Yo, what the fuck's up with that wheel, bro?" And he was like, "Yup." Like, that's not an explanation. So thank you, Lee. All right. Anyways, Big Mike Holmes, who is apparently trying to go full time, which is impressive. Go, Mike.
Yeah, he's killing it, man. He's doing great.
He is. I love it too when he narrates videos because I love his sound of his voice. He looks like his voice is the kind of voice that sounds like somebody who spits a lot. So I love you, Mike. Keep up the good work. Dave Wirt, Mr. Social himself. One grit from Rustic Joy. He's been great. He messaged me and he said he only got 2 wrong on the Star Wars quiz.
Oh, nice. Very good. He beat me then.
He beat me too. Like I think I got 3 wrong. So,
you did.
Yeah. My mom, Elise Gelman.
She's been messaging me, commenting on my stories and stuff, which is great. I love it. Thank you for the comments.
Oh, dude! Once you friend my mom, it's over. Tim from Turgworks, the voice of the podcast.
Tim.
Dave the Thriller Miller,
yes,
who has a beard like the front, like the cow catcher on the front of a train. Woo, Dave.
A new description every week. I can't wait for him.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Billy Estes from Simple Wood. Which I don't know Billy that well, but he's a nice dude.
He's great. Billy's a cool dude, man. He's out in Texas, and he does a lot of furniture builds and cabinetry and stuff like that. And he's a great dude. He's a good follow.
Yeah, and then Corey Stanley from Odyssey_Stan. He's on the _ crew. And
Axeman.
Yeah, and he's been literally and figuratively slaying it. And then, as always, our list of people who should be Patreons but aren't is Trevor Davies. Screw you, Trevor. If anybody wants Trevor's home number or phone number or any of his personal information, I do have the last 4 digits of his social security number now. I can add to your mix. So if you want to be Trevor Davies and then become a Patreon of ours, I could help you sort that out, right? It doesn't have to be like the actual Trevor Davies. And look, if somebody wants to open up an Instagram account, like at Trevor Davies and become a patron of ours, like that would be also funny.
That'd be great. Somebody steals his identity just to become our Patreon,
dude, or uses his his actual account name, but then puts the underscore at the end of it. All those troll bots do, and then they become a Patreon. That would be amazing. I won't say his account name because I don't want to send people his way.
No,
because he posted a bit. He posted a story today of like some weird looking primate monkey thing eating looked like a handful of nuts, and he was like, "Luke in the garage." I'm like, "You son of a bitch." I always joke around that Matthew Gerard is my nemesis when it comes to social media, but Trevor is the one who's really driving me crazy. So.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the only one like who goes out of his way to pick on you instead of me, which is nice.
I mean, it's wonderful. So I gotta look. He's like one or two cracks away from me focusing all of my attention on him, and that's look. I don't have much attention span, Trevor, but if you do want it, I'll give it to you.
All right. Well, dude, thank you so much, guys, for being our patrons. And if you want to be a patron of this podcast, just go at the end of every episode in the bottom of the list of the all the notes and everything. We have a link that you can click on it and go to Patreon and choose your tier of how you want to support us. And we'd really appreciate you guys so much.
We promise to use that money either to make this podcast better or to do stupid shit. Don't worry, that money's not going to go towards paying bills.
No. You can be sure of that. Also, guys, thank you so much for always sharing these things afterwards out on the socials. We really appreciate it. Keep it up. Share it with anybody, your family, friends. Shout it out at people on the street. Do whatever you can to help grow this podcast because we appreciate you guys and we love you.
Yeah, and also leave a review on Apple because Ben likes reading those, and there's no new reviews this week. So
yeah, I need something to do. Come on.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
all right, guys. Like you said, leave us reviews, 5-star reviews. Anything on Apple will get read here on the podcast live, and yeah, that's about it. Share it. That's it. You got anything else?
Take it away, Tib. Balls.
This has been a ConMan creative production. Text us anytime at 908 768 2664 or send us a message on our Instagram, thejointery podcast. You can find Ben at Condorosa Creations or Luke at Luke in the Garage. Everywhere that social media is sold. That's garage, not garage. Say it properly.